They keep telling you to be patient. They keep telling you to wait and see. But here's the problem. WWE fans are done waiting. Because the Monday Night Raw Netflix anniversary show is almost here, and one name is echoing louder than any other across social media, forums, and locker room whispers: Seth freaking Rollins. And let's be honest for a second, if Rollins doesn't show up in some way on January 6th, a lot of fans are going to feel played. Is WWE teasing hope just to yank it away again? Or are they setting the stage for one of the most calculated comebacks in modern wrestling history? Quick question before we go deeper: do you think WWE owes fans at least a Rollins appearance on January 6th, yes or no? Seth Rollins, the visionary, has been the backbone of Monday Night Raw for years. When Raw needed energy, he delivered. When feuds needed credibility, he carried them. When rivals needed elevation, Rollins made them matter. But all of that came crashing down in October 2025 at Crown Jewel, when Rollins suffered a torn rotator cuff, an injury serious enough to shut down everything instantly. This wasn't a storyline pause. This was real. Surgery followed quickly, creative plans were ripped up overnight, title pictures shifted, feuds collapsed or were redirected. Raw didn't just lose a top star, it lost its compass. And here's what really fuels the frustration: Rollins didn't disappear quietly. He's spoken openly about his recovery, he's given timelines, he's been honest. On the Wrestling News and More Stories podcast, Rollins revealed that his surgery happened roughly 9 weeks prior and that he still has 3 to 4 months of rehabilitation before even thinking about medical clearance. If you do the math, that places his realistic in-ring return around March or April 2026, right as the road to WrestleMania 42 explodes into chaos. So ask yourself this: would you rather see Rollins rushed back for a pop, or protected for a WrestleMania-level moment? The WWE Universe has absolutely felt his absence. Raw has adapted, yes, but adapted isn't the same as thriving. The Vision faction fractured. Braun Breaker surged forward. Bronson Reed carved his own path. CM Punk re-entered championship conversations. The ecosystem changed. And that's why Rollins' return isn't just about him. It's about what version of Raw exists when he comes back. Now let's talk about the rumor that has fans either hyped or furious. The idea that Seth Rollins could return bald, with a long beard, signaling a complete reinvention. Some fans love it, others hate it. Nobody is indifferent. In wrestling, looks are identity. A visual change isn't cosmetic, it's symbolic. The Rock's transformation, seen as evolution, countless reinvent ions across eras, all prove one thing: when a superstar changes how they look, they're telling you the old chapter is closed. So what does a bald, bearded Rollins represent? A darker visionary? A stripped-down, war-tested veteran? A man who's been humbled by injury and rebuilt himself from the ground up? Simple question: does a darker, more serious Rollins excite you, or do you prefer the flamboyant visionary era? Now here's where January 6th comes into play. The Raw Netflix anniversary show isn't just another episode. Last year's premiere featured megastars and record-breaking numbers. WWE knows how big these moments are. But based on Rollins' own timeline, a full physical return on January 6th feels unlikely. And honestly, that might be a good thing. Because WWE doesn't need Rollins wrestling that night. They need him looming. A video package, a cryptic message, a silent shot, a metaphor-heavy promo that says, "I'm watching, and I'm coming." That kind of tease might be even more powerful than a rushed return. Be honest, would a chilling vignette hit harder than a short match? If WWE plays this right, Rollins' comeback could anchor the entire WrestleMania season. A spring return opens endless doors. A collision with the World Heavyweight Champion, a brutal rivalry with Braun Breaker, a long-awaited confrontation with CM Punk. Each option feels massive. Each option feels earned. And here's the truth that makes this whole situation so compelling: WWE doesn't have to rush anything. The roster is stacked. The stories are fluid. The anticipation is real. When Rollins comes back, whether bald, bearded, or somewhere in between, it won't just be a return, it'll be a reset. Final question for you: should Rollins return as a hero, an anti-hero, or a full-blown menace? Drop your answers in the comments. Debate it. Argue it. Share this with someone who disagrees with you. Because when Seth Rollins finally steps back into a WWE arena, the noise won't just be loud, it'll be unavoidable. And here on Ring Rumble, we'll be right there breaking down every single second of it. And here's where the conversation gets even more heated, because timing is everything, and WWE has a history of getting this exact situation right, and very wrong. Think back to past injury returns. When WWE rushes a superstar back, fans notice. The performance isn't crisp, the storytelling feels forced, and worst of all, the risk of re-injury skyrockets. Seth Rollins is not a talent you gamble with. This is a generational performer, a locker room leader, and one of the last true workhorse main eventers Raw has left. So if WWE is smart, and that's a big if depending on who you ask, they won't burn the Rollins return for a cheap anniversary pop. Let me ask you this real quick, what would make you angrier, Rollins returning too early and getting hurt again, or WWE teasing him for months without payoff? Because fans are split right down the middle. Some believe WWE needs Rollins on January 6 to legitimize the Netflix anniversary. They argue that without him, the show risks feeling hollow, especially with expectations set sky-high after last year's blockbuster episode. Others believe patience is the play, that the longer Rollins is absent, the louder the reaction when his music finally hits. And then there's the wild card theory, a theory that says Rollins won't wrestle, he won't even brawl, but he will make his presence felt. Imagine this: a major Raw main event, CM Punk, Braun Breaker, chaos in the ring, the lights dim, a screen flickers, no music, just Rollins' voice, calm, controlled, dangerous. That alone would break the internet. Would that satisfy you, or would you still want physical contact? Drop that answer below. Now let's talk WrestleMania 42, because make no mistake, this is where everything points. A March or April return lines Rollins up perfectly for a WrestleMania payoff, and WWE loves nothing more than a comeback story peaking on the grandest stage of them all. Picture Rollins entering that season not as the flashy visionary we last saw, but as a sharpened weapon. Less theatrics, more purpose. A man who's had months to sit at home, watch Raw fall into disorder, and convince himself that none of it works without him. That mindset alone changes promos. It changes feuds. It changes crowd reactions. And if that rumored bald head and long beard come with it, suddenly Rollins doesn't look like he's here to entertain, he looks like he's here to take something back. Quick poll style question: bald Rollins instant classic or total miss? What's fascinating is how flexible WWE's booking options are right now. The World Heavyweight Championship scene is volatile. Rising stars are still untested against top-tier veterans. Long-term grudges are unresolved. Rollins can slot into any of these and instantly raise the stakes. That's why some fans believe WWE might stretch this even further, saving Rollins for the Royal Rumble or even Elimination Chamber. Those environments amplify shock value. A surprise entrant, a stare down, a single elimination that sparks a months-long feud. And let's be real, Seth Rollins does not need a microphone to tell a story. One look, one stare, one stomp to the mat, and the crowd knows exactly what time it is. So where does this leave January 6? Most likely, not as the destination but as the first signpost. A reminder, a warning, a seed planted intentionally so that by the time Rollins is cleared, the audience is already emotionally invested. And that's the smartest play WWE can make. Because when Seth Rollins finally returns for real, the reaction won't just be loud, it'll be layered. Relief, excitement, curiosity, debate. That's how stars stay relevant even when they're gone. Final question, and this one matters: should WWE keep Rollins off TV completely until he's cleared, or use subtle teases to build the comeback? Let us know. Because no matter where you stand, one thing is undeniable: Seth Rollins' return isn't just another comeback, it's a turning point. For Raw, for WWE, and for the road to WrestleMania 42. And when that moment finally arrives, you already know where the real breakdown will be. Right here on Ring Rumble. And let's push this one step further, because here's the uncomfortable truth WWE doesn't want to say out loud: Raw without Seth Rollins feels unfinished. Not broken, not unwatchable, just incomplete. Every week he's gone, fans keep fantasy booking his return. Every major segment feels like it's missing that one unpredictable variable. And that's not nostalgia, that's relevance. That's what happens when a performer has trained the audience to expect impact every time they show up. Now ask yourself this: when Rollins comes back, should he immediately target the top, or dismantle the roster piece by piece first? Because both options send very different messages. If Rollins goes straight for the World Heavyweight Championship, it screams entitlement: I never lost my spot. If he comes back and starts tearing through contenders, it screams vengeance: you took my place while I was gone. And that choice alone defines his entire 2026 character. This is why the rumored reinvention matters so much. A bald head and long beard isn't just a style change, it's a psychological cue. It tells the audience this isn't the Seth Rollins who laughed, danced, or soaked in crowd reactions. This is someone who's been isolated, rehabbing, watching the show move on without him. Isolation changes people. In wrestling, it changes characters. And WWE knows that fans pick up on that instantly. Let's talk fan reaction, because this is where things get explosive. No matter how Rollins returns, the internet will be split within seconds. Some will call it genius, others will call it forced. Memes will fly, clips will trend, arguments will rage. And that's exactly what WWE wants. Engagement is the currency now, and Rollins generates it effortlessly. Whether fans cheer him, boo him, or argue about his haircut, the they're talking, and that's power. Honest question: do you think Rollins should lean into controversy or try to win everyone back immediately? Another angle people aren't talking about enough is leadership. While Rollins has been gone, younger stars have stepped up, but none have truly claimed Raw. There's been no unquestioned standard bearer. That vacuum creates opportunity. A returning Rollins could position himself not just as a competitor, but as a measuring stick. Beat him and you matter. Lose to him and you learn. That's how legends extend their relevance without overstaying their welcome. And if WWE is thinking long-term, which they should, Rollins' comeback could define Raw for the rest of 2026. Not just in matches, but in tone. More intensity, more stakes, less filler. So here's the big picture question: is Seth Rollins' return about one match, or about reshaping Raw entirely? Because the answer determines everything from who he faces, to how long he stays at the top, to whether this comeback is remembered as iconic or wasted. January 6th is approaching fast. Whether Rollins appears or not, the conversation will peak that night. If WWE stays silent, fans will riot online. If they tease him, theories will explode. If they show him even briefly, the internet melts. There is no neutral outcome. And that's why this moment is so fascinating. WWE is standing at a creative fork in the road, and Seth Rollins is the decision. So as we count down the days, keep watching closely. Watch the promos. Watch the camera cuts. Watch what WWE doesn't say. Because with Rollins, silence is never accidental. Last question before you go, and don't dodge this one: when Seth Rollins finally returns, should he be the hero Raw needs, or the problem Raw can't control? Sound off in the comments. Argue it out. Share this with someone who completely disagrees with you. Because when Seth Rollins' music hits again, whether it's January, March, or WrestleMania season, the entire WWE landscape is going to shift. And when it does, Ring Rumble will be right here, breaking it all down, frame by frame.